Education Cabinet Secretary Professor Prof Magoha now says learners from poor families may be spared from a new wave of directive of paying school fees. Magoha, who has come under fire over his recent sentiments, maintains that parents of learners from well-to-do families must pay their dues to enable schools to cater for their needs. Some members of parliament have criticized Magoha over his stand, saying many Kenyans are still facing financial difficulties due to COVID-19. This story was produced by our very own Joroge Gatete.
As schools enter the second part of third term preparing to graduate to their next class, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor Prof Magoha is adamant that parents must heed to their responsibility.
So those who can afford to pay must pay. They have to pay. All this politics, you forget about it. And I said you pay the fee balances.
Magoha spoke at the launch of the Physical Education and Sport Policy for Basic Education in Kenya at the KICD, decrying the trend by some parents who have denied schools crucial resources as they inch closer to transitioning to a new academic year in July.
PS present.
Magoha, while urging head teachers and principals not to victimize students from poor families, say they will not be lenient to those who are able to pay school fees and are taking advantage of the pandemic.
I chair the secondary school called St. Mary's Yala, and I know for sure that the majority of people who are defaulting school fees for that school can afford to pay. There are a few students, maybe less than 10%, who must not be touched.
CS Magoha has warned school heads against taking advantage of his orders and charging additional levies.
Any teacher who is doing an additional levy, treat that as a criminal act. If you find a child sent home for an additional levy, that's now between the teacher and the law.
A directive that members of parliament want the cabinet secretary to revoke, saying it is bound to affect the 100% transition being championed by the government.
Wazazi kwa sasa, Bwana Spika, wana shida. Haswa sasa uchumi umeweza kuzoroteka na mambo ya corona. Pesa za CDF, Bwana Spika, ambazo zafaa kusaidia kulipia karo hazijatoka zipasavyo.
I've heard us making noise about the CDF disbursements. That has not been done by government. So for the same government to say that pupils and students be sent out of school, I think this is really the height of impunity.
Mwelekeo wake ni mbaya sana. Kwa sababu ukichukua kwa constituency kama yangu, Embakasi South constituency, ama watoto wangu wa Mukuru, wazazi wao wengi wanafanya kazi industrial area, wamesimamishwa kazi.
Education Committee Chair Florence Mutua says the committee intends to summon the CS over the matter.